Welcome to tonight's edition of Cooking in Betsy's Kitchen.
Good evening. It's a snowy, boring Tuesday, so my husband wants me to show you how to make breaded pork chops. We started with a pork loin that I cut into about an inch piece. Rinse them off, dredge them in flour. Can you see that? Actually, this just kind of coats the meat and keeps it moist while it's cooking. And then you put it in egg wash and then a breadcrumb. I use panko, which is a Japanese breadcrumb, because they are, to me, superior in the crunch factor. And the crunch is the most important thing, of course.
What's in the egg wash?
Egg, a little bit of water, just kind of stretch the egg a little bit. Okay, get that good and patted on there. And then I have this on medium-high heat. It's just regular canola oil. And you're frying it just to brown the outside, not to cook it through. We're going to finish cooking it on a rack in a 375-degree oven, and that'll keep it from being too brown on the outside and not done on the inside. People have a tendency to overcook pork, cook it too long, make it too done. Pork nowadays does not need to be any more than 150 degrees, 155 degrees. Any more than that, it's going to be dry, especially thinner your pork chops are. You can use any kind of pork chops. You can use boneless, you can use bone-in, whatever's cheapest at your market. I personally got a pork roast out of my freezer and cut it into what I wanted, which is probably cheaper still if you're cutting it yourself.
Now, is that just panko?
Just
flakes?
panko. I will salt and pepper from in the pan on my own. And then again, when you turn it, and finish it in the oven. Right now I have potatoes in the oven, so it'll all go in there and it'll all be done about the same time. In a perfect world. Or at least until the wine's done.
Anything in the flour mixer, or is that just flour?
It's just plain flour.
Any sifting, or just...
No. Sifting is only when you're baking. So this is just a dredge, like I said, to keep the moisture in the meat. You know, some people don't put the flour on it, but I find that it makes the meat stay moister. And it holds the crumbs better as well. You can use regular breadcrumbs if you like. You can make your own cracker crumbs if you like. It's whatever your personal preference is. I personally like the panko because they're very crunchy.
And how's that spelled?
Panko, and it's in the Chinese food section of your local grocery. And I'm going to show you, this has been cooking for what, a minute, maybe?
A little longer, probably.
Can you see this? It's starting to turn brown halfway up. It's got a nice golden color on it. So you just salt and pepper that on this side. You want it about the same color, and then put it on the rack.
Okay, then we'll come back in when it's ready to go in the oven.
Okay?
Okay.
Hi, we're almost ready to put these in the oven, but I wanted to remind you that the pork chops are to be wet before you put them in the flour, so I just have them sitting in water. It just makes the flour adhere better to the meat. So now we've baked all of them, seasoned them on both sides. I mean, fried them, excuse me, seasoned on all sides. Got a nice brown coat on both sides. I put them on like a panned rack, put them in the oven so that they're not sitting in their own, you know, they'll get greasy and the breading will stick to the pan rather than stay on the pork chop. So it works better if you just put them on a rack and put it in the oven like that. So we'll put them in the oven, probably finish cooking them in 20 to 30 minutes, and that all depends on the size of your pork chops. These aren't very thick, so I'm going to think they're going to be ready in about 20 minutes. I also have potatoes in here so that you're not, you know, you're cooking everything in one oven and serving your energy. See you in 20. Well, it's been about 20 minutes. And as you can see, the pork chops haven't really browned all that much more. I let them rest for a few minutes before serving so that the juices go back in the meat. You never want to cut meat directly out of an oven or off a grill or out of the pan. You always want to let it rest. These were in the oven at the same time. They're Parmesan potatoes, very easy, quartered potatoes with Parmesan cheese and a little flour, salt, pepper. And I'm serving it with broccoli and cranberry sauce just because I like the flavor mix of that and wine. So now that my oven's still going, I've still got cookies in there as bonus just to, you know, when you have the oven on, you should be thinking about other things that you're going to make at the same time. So,
how did you know the pork was done?
Well, you can check it with a meat thermometer, but 20 minutes after, you know, it should be finished by then. No more than 30 minutes on a pork chop or it's going to be not good.
Okay.